Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Shrutika and today let us continue with the chapter Environmental Issues. So in this chapter we have seen what is the environment, what are the issues which are related to the destruction of environment, and we have also seen which are the factors which are causing the environmental degradation. So let us continue with the factors. That is, we have seen uh, air pollution, its control. Then we were on water pollution, and we have seen certain factors which causes water pollution, that is sewage water, release of sewage water, that is domestic and industrial effluents in the water, and we have seen how it causes biological oxygen demand. Today what we are going to start with the other factor which causes water pollution, that is how this water pollution can cause algal blooms. So presence of large amount of nutrients in water also causes excessive. So presence of large amount of nutrient in water also causes excessive growth of planktons, free floating algae known as algal blooms, which impart a distinct color to the water body. Algal bloom causes deterioration of the water quality and the fish mortality. Some blooms forming algae are extremely toxic to human beings and animals. So, if this is how the algal blooms look like. So, what it does is, if there is a excess amount of nutrient in the water, that has come into the water body through what? Through the surface runoff of the chemical fertilizers and pesticides inside the water. So this accumulation of this toxic elements, what it does is, it serves as a food material for the algae. So what will happen is, the algal bloom will start growing, that is algae will start blooming in the water, and this algae, what it will do is, it will form a thick layer on the surface of water, which will decrease the oxygen levels inside the water, which will cause the mortality of the fish, that is death of the fishes and the aquatic organism inside the water. Also aquatic plants, because sunlight will not pass through this layer. So what will happen is, the plants which are there, aquatic plants which are there inside the water, will also die. Also what it does is, if people are using this water, it is very toxic, because some algae which are there, they are toxic to human beings. So it does is, it will contaminate the water, that it will decrease the water quality. Second thing is, biomagnification. So what is biomagnification? It is toxic substances often present in the industrial waste can undergo biomagnification. So in the aquatic chain, so what happens in biomagnification? There are toxic chemicals which are released inside the water. What happens is, that toxic waste which is there, it will move from one trophic level to another trophic level. So let us take one example to understand this biomagnification. That is, if we are taking example of the DDT. So DDT is a very toxic element which is present, which is released in the water through the industrial waste. So the concentration of DDT is increased at a successive trophic level. Say it starts at the 0.003 ppb, parts per billion in water. It can ultimately reach the 25 ppm, parts per million, in fish eating birds through biomagnification. That is, if there is a concentration of DDT, that is 0.003 ppb, what will happen is, this will be taken in by the zooplanktons which are there inside the water. These zooplanktons are fed by the small fishes. Okay, so these small fishes are fed by the large fishes, and these large fishes are fed by the birds. So this is how the toxin, when it goes from a lower level to a higher level, it will get accumulated in the large trophic level. So this is how biomagnification is very toxic to the living organism. Then eutrophication. Eutrophication is basically, it is the natural aging of lake by nutrient enrichment of its water. So in young lakes, the water is cold and clear, supporting the life. So what happens, as in when years pass, what will happen is, due to drainage, due to runoff of the fertilizers, pesticide, there is accumulation of nutrient, accumulation of algal blooms, and over the years passes, what happens is there is sedimentation which is happening in the water, and due to this there is less biological oxygen which is present inside the water, and there is mortality of the fish, that is death of the fishes and the plant and organism, which what it does is that will make the lake dead. So this process is called as eutrophication. Now the next type of issue which is related to environment degradation is solid waste. So solid waste refers to everything that goes out in trash. That is, municipal solid waste are waste from homes, office, stores, school, hospital, etc. That are collected and disposed by the municipality. So there is a very serious condition, that is a serious problem which is there. It is regarding the solid waste disposal. So this type of waste can be categorized into three types, that is biodegradable, recyclable and non-biodegradable. Biodegradable are the waste material which can be degraded by the soil. Inside the soil there are microorganisms which can degrade this waste, and these are called as biodegradable waste. Then there are certain waste which are like plastics, which paper, which can be recycled. That is, it can be it can be destroyed and it can be made into new material. So the material can be recycled. And there are non-biodegradable which cannot be degraded by the environment. So we can categorize this waste into three categories, and depending on these three categories we can segregate the waste, and then the problem can be solved. Like if we categorize the waste into biodegradable, recyclable and non-biodegradable waste, the biodegradable waste can be used to make the manure, which are organic fertilizers. Then we can recycle, reuse the non-biodegradable waste. So this is how we can solve the problem of solid waste disposal. Then comes the e-waste, that is the electronic waste. So irreparable computers and other electronic goods are known as electronic waste or the e-waste. So e-waste are burned in landfills or incinerated. So it is very toxic to the environment, because this electronic gadgets are made up of very toxic metals. So when you burn such metals, it goes in the environment, that is, it pollutes the air. So it is very important to recycle this materials to provide so that it is provided it is carried out in an environmental friendly manner. Then comes the agrochemical and their factors. As in, we use for agriculture, what we use is pesticides, herbicide, fungicide, weedicide. All these are made up of toxic chemicals which are non-biodegradable and which goes inside the soil, destroys the soil organisms because they are very toxic. It from the due to rain, it will wash into the soil. It pollutes the groundwater, it pollutes the water bodies, causes eutrophication, causes algal blooms, and these are the effect it causes on the environment. So what can we do for this? We can switch to organic farming, that is using organic fertilizers, organic pesticides, organic manure from the biodegradable waste. Okay. Then comes the radioactive waste. So radioactive waste, it is initially nuclear energy was hailed as a non-polluting way for generating electricity. So radioactive waste come from the nuclear energy. Later on, it was realized that the use of nuclear energy has two very serious inherent problems. The first problem is leakage, and the second problem is disposal of the radioactive waste. So radiation, that is, so how this nuclear energy, that is the radioactive waste, affects us. So radiation that is given off by the nuclear waste is extremely damaging to the organism, because it causes mutation at a very high rate. At high doses, nuclear radiation is lethal, but at lower doses, it creates various disorders. Most frequent of all is is the disease, that is cancer. So nuclear waste is an extremely potent pollutant and has to be dealt with utmost caution. So it has to be deal with caution when you handle nuclear waste. So it has been recommended that storage of nuclear waste offer sufficient pre-treatment should be done in stable shielded containers buried within the rocks. So this is how we can dispose the radioactive waste. So in today's video what we have seen is the other factors which causes environmental issues, that is radioactive waste, then the agrochemicals, e-waste, solid waste, and how water pollution is caused. So this was about today's video. Thank you for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.